It would be harsh to call this a glorified Pedialyte, so I won't do that. Instead, I'm going to put this in a special category. Welcome. Today, we're reviewing FSU by Inspired Nutraceuticals. Why are they so inspired, though? Listen to this.
Our name and where it came from. It's about bringing positive thinking individuals, healthy-minded individuals together and sharing their experiences and bringing each other up through that positivity.
I feel like half the supplement companies these days build their brand image off of dumping on the other half. It's sort of pretty common rhetoric in a company's about page. I'll be honest though, I don't think Inspired Nutraceuticals did a great job of telling their brand story here. There's not a ton to go off of. But their logo and their label design are quite cool. Looks good, stands out super well against other brands. The company is run by President Chris Waldron, who curiously bases their ad campaign around encouraging people to visit their local brick-and-mortar mom-and-pop supplement stores. I say curious because it seems much more advantageous to a company to get someone on their website where they're now part of the ecosystem rather than going into a shop where I could pick up one of 100 different supplements, of which yours is only one. Plus, recent events aside, we've been moving more and more to being digital consumers anyway, and supplements aren't really things you need to handle in person before buying. But there you go, buy local. Their stim-free product, FSU, which stands for Florida State University, is designed to deliver massive pumps, increased power, and mental focus. Okay. Other than that, not much product description. It's worth noting, though, that almost all their sponsored athletes and their promotional material focus on endurance sports rather than powerlifting or aesthetics-based bodybuilding, so I'd expect the ingredient dosing to lean in that direction. Let's see. To start it off, they're not third-party tested. They don't really offer a money-back guarantee. You can return open products for a 50% refund. And they're not all natural. It is what it is. Label breakdown. You've got a 20.1 gram scooper with 17.5 grams of actives. That's 87% active ingredients. That's super solid. That's a really big serving size and a really high percentage of active ingredients. This bodes well. You've got some electrolytes at the top here. They play an important role in hydration and in cellular energy production, but the bulk of them actually appear further down the label. We'll get to those in a moment. Vitamin C. Vitamin C has a lot of maybe useful benefits, from increased recovery if you take a gram of it, to helping metabolize carbs for fuel, to even increasing nitric oxide output. 250 milligrams boosts NO, but it's also an anti-inflammatory. Studies have actually shown that inflammation post-workout actually helps you build muscle and even fight stress. So for that reason, you shouldn't be taking any anti-inflammatories before or during a workout. Just my take on it. Moving on to the truth matrix. This is the pump matrix. Starting with L-citrulline. This is roughly equivalent to 6 grams of citrulline malate, which is the amount you see used in a lot of different studies. You'll see it being dosed really high these days, and for good reason. This is the #1 nitric oxide booster, and it belongs in any pre-workout designed to increase blood flow or muscular power. It's a precursor to L-arginine, so if 4 grams isn't enough for you, they've also added arginine itself right below it. And it's not just arginine. That NO3T tag indicates that this is the patented version from Thermalife. It's the one you see all over, especially in a lot of Cellucor products. In general, arginine nitrate is going to work well at improving nitric oxide production and blood flow, like L-citrulline. Using the patented version is only going to make the effect stronger for the dose you're getting, as binding arginine to a nitrate peptide increases its bioavailability. Going into the 3 gram range is quite high. Very good dosage. Keep in mind, I would not be happy to see this in here if it was just regular arginine. The fact that this is the NO3T form is what's making the difference. Horny goatweed, the Chinese herb with a straightforward name. Horny goatweed got its name from goats acting friskier after consuming the plant while grazing. While it's now marketed in the sexual performance category, it's actually got a lot of potential outside of that, like boosting cardiovascular health and even being anti-obesity. Or maybe that's just the result of the extra cardio it compels you to get. That said, I can't dig up a single study where this was used prior to working out. This is like people using Viagra and Cialis pre-workout, but the even less effective over-the-counter version of it. Yeah, it boosts blood flow, but it doesn't have any claims to enhancing sports performance. Hell, it doesn't even have really solid human studies backing up its ability to enhance sexual performance. Novel to put this in here, but not super useful. Moving on now to the osmolytic ATP matrix, or as I call it, the Gatorade matrix. Starting with creatine monohydrate at 3 grams. I always find it a bit silly when people put creatine in a pre-workout. Creatine doesn't act fast enough to be placed in here. It's like putting vitamins in a pre-workout. If you're deficient in calcium, your body's not going to rectify your bone density in 30 minutes, you know? If they wanted something to boost how much ATP your muscles hold, you should have used Elevate ATP, which actually works within an hour of ingestion. Or just take creatine daily with the rest of your vitamins, like everybody else. Next up, betaine anhydrous. Betaine's good for lowering your homocysteine levels, increasing your digestion, and also vasodilation. It's going to increase nitric oxide output and blood flow, and it's been shown to do this at 3 grams and higher. 2,500 milligrams is just a tad lower than I'd want. It's not bad, but I'd like it boosted up. Then you've got potassium glycerophosphate, 500 milligrams, sodium glycerophosphate, 500 milligrams, alkaline soluble, 300 milligrams, and pink Himalayan sea salt, another 300 milligrams. All of these are going to aid in hydration. While I don't see high doses of these very often in pump products, it seems like a huge oversight in my opinion. If you want to test the importance of that, try taking all the salt out of your diet for a few days. Tell me your muscles don't lose their fullness and you no longer have any energy in the gym. These ingredients can't be too high in my opinion. I love them where they are, but if they were even triple these numbers, I'd still have no issue. Attaching the sodium and potassium to a glycerophosphate transporter is now going to allow them to act more quickly. And the trademarked Aquamin combo is also designed for efficient absorption. All of this is going to allow you to hydrate your cells quite rapidly. You normally wouldn't be able to do it that quick if you were just drinking a Gatorade. This is a smart of them to do. This is going to allow their pre-workout to work more efficiently, but all that sodium may have a negative effect on taste, and perhaps a negative effect optics-wise for consumers who still harbor a sodium phobia of sorts. Last category, we've got the
I'm seriously so focused right now
matrix. Starting with L-tyrosine. If you purchase L-tyrosine as a capsule, it's going to be 500 milligrams with a 1 capsule recommended dose. If you see it in a pre-workout, it's probably going to be 500 to 1,000. At 2,000, this is a big dose of L-tyrosine. This is awesome because clinical studies show that the effective cap on this supplement to be multiple grams. The downside is that too high is going to cause GI issues. Adding that much of this amino acid in here is going to cause a noticeable decrease in your body's mental response to stress. And it won't do anything for you physically, but you should experience much less mental fatigue when entering the tail end of your workout. We like that. Lion's mane mushroom. I'll say that I'm a fan of lion's mane based on the research. That said, the best results are achieved at 1,000 milligrams 3 times a day. Lion's mane is an extremely promising cognitive enhancer as it boosts the amount of gray matter in your brain. Gray matter is heavily involved in muscle control and sensory perception such as seeing, hearing, among other non-physical functions. I think there's enough evidence out there to show that lion's mane is an extremely effective supplement that most anyone could benefit from taking. But I haven't seen any evidence that taking it 30 minutes or so prior to physical activity improves performance. Any study done on this has never dosed it that soon prior to testing its effects. When they did a study on rats showing increased muscular endurance, they put it in the rat's food every day for weeks. This is just like the creatine above. We know there's some cool benefits to using it, but it's not a pre-workout supplement. It shouldn't be placed in a product for people who are trying to see improvements in the next hour. Neurofactor, 100 milligrams. This is a patented ingredient that comes from the coffee plant. What makes it unique is that it boosts BDNF, which is a neuroprotein that enhances memory and learning. Fittingly, BDNF is also actually elevated from exercise itself, but boosting it before you start isn't going to hurt. Unlike the coffee you drink though, which comes from the same place, there's virtually no caffeine in this. So that's the label. A little hit and miss, but we'll see how it pans out in practice. Flavors, you've got 2. You've got Orange County and Sour Yummies. I went with Orange County because it's closer to where I live. Mixability. All right, so you can see that even when I'm 2 scooping it into a cup of water, 20 grams of powder still mixes in totally fine with just a spoon. So a shaker bottle is not required. Taste. All right, so if you go to the website, it says that Orange County translates to orange tang. But there is no tang. There's not much complexity. It's powdery, soft, orangey. It's like a blood orange meets a powdered donut. There's no issues of saltiness though, which is great. Tastes good, if a bit plain and mild. The name is actually quite suiting. Like Orange County itself, the flavor is pleasant and inoffensive, if a bit boring. Effects. So, as predicted, the product is more focused on workout endurance than nitric oxide boosting, although that is there as well. Regarding blood flow and power output, I'm kind of surprised the pumps are good. With only one other certified ingredient boosting blood flow other than citrulline, I was not expecting much, but the pumps are actually pretty solid. The mental effects were very minor. A lot of people aren't going to feel that much from tyrosine on its own. This is because tyrosine elevates dopamine levels up to a point after which it doesn't do much. When it's not paired with stimulants, it's a mood booster, not really a focus booster. And since the lion's mane doesn't hit after only 30 minutes, that leaves 100 milligrams of neurofactor as the focus aid. I've definitely had stronger nootropic effects from other supplements. In regards to the muscle fullness and intracellular hydration that's supposed to be brought on by the Gatorade matrix, I need to offer a disclaimer here. I personally intake a ton of sodium and potassium outside of the gym already. I aim for 8 grams of sodium on workout days, and my daily hydration drink alone has a massive 1,500 milligrams of potassium in it already. So, did I personally notice much from these extra minerals? No. Do I like this ATP matrix then? I do, for the right person. For the person who knows they don't get enough electrolytes. So, actually most of you, you need it. Negatives. I can happily say that there are 0 negative side effects experienced with this. Stackability. The most obvious choice for stacking this is with Devastate of the Union. That's Inspired Stimulatory pre-workout. And they're extremely focused on the stim blend in that one. Just that blend has 10 different ingredients if you don't count the tyrosine, which is in FSU as well. And obviously FSU has 0 stims in it. And it has one of the only ingredients that I really wanted is the osmolytic blend, glycerol. While citrulline is a repeat, you're not maxing out your dose at all. Studies have shown increasing effectiveness dosing citrulline all the way up to 10 grams. If you double scoop both, you'll be at 8, which is good. So yeah, they're gonna combine effectively. I'd specifically recommend, if you want to turn it into a stimulatory pre-workout, to 1 scoop Devastate, 2 scoop FSU. And if you don't mind going off brand and want to keep this pre-workout stim free, you can stack it with Alpha EAA by NutraBio. In addition to the amino acids, you'll find even more hydrating agents not found in FSU and a nootropic blend that also features 0 repeats. That would probably be the best pick to stack this with and still keep it stim free. Price. On their website, it's $44.99 for 20 servings, making it $2.25 per serving. However, I found it for $36.99 with an ability to get an extra 10% off that, which I will provide the code for down below, making it $33.29 USD. I would have said that the original price is pretty steep for what you're getting, but now that it's only $166 per workout, I like the price much more. I think, given what's in it and my personal experience, that the price is fair. I think it's overpriced at MSRP and fairly priced if you use the deal in the description. It's not the most killer deal of the decade, and it's also not highway robbery. Like almost all aspects of this pre-workout, it falls near the middle. In conclusion, there's nothing crazy about this. There's nothing really bad, and there's no huge standout either. The taste isn't bad, but it's not incredibly interesting. The pumps are good, but also not crazy or super long lasting. I would argue that citrulline plus the NO3T arginine is probably all most people need to get a good pump in the gym though. Plus, since Inspired is more focused on marketing to endurance athletes, I'm totally okay with them making a pre-workout that's much more aimed at hydration and endurance than it is at getting massive pumps, since that plays to their primary consumer best. But did they maybe take the easy way out with the ingredients? Would it have been pricier to put LF-ATP and taurine and glycerol in here instead of just creatine and salt? That's the only reason I can really think for the substitution. I can get salt and potassium from my regular diet. I can't get LF-ATP from my regular diet. That said, that high sodium dosing is actually what I really like about this product. I can think of at least 3 reasons why most companies wouldn't have the balls to do this. 1, salt is still falsely demonized as an ingredient you want to reduce in your diet, not intentionally get an extra gram of. 2, concerns over taste. Taste is extremely important for these companies to be able to sell their product, and if consumers feel like they're drinking saline solution out of an IV drip, that's not going to be good for sales. And 3, it's often just not the focus of the product. The term non-stimulatory pre-workout is often synonymous with pump product in this industry, which means that it's mainly about boosting blood flow, nitric oxide, things like that. Maybe nootropics as a focus afterthought. Hydration just isn't a top priority. That said, every pre-workout should have this much of these minerals in it, at least in my opinion. If you're deficient in these, you're actually going to notice significant benefits from this pre. If you're someone who's not intentionally loading sodium and potassium throughout the day, which I know is most of you, then getting a proper amount of electrolytes is going to feel like taking a pre-workout all on its own. As such, you're likely someone who's going to experience maximal benefits and absolutely love this pre-workout. It would be harsh to call this a glorified Pedialyte, so I won't do that. Instead, I'm going to put this in a special category called Pump Plus Electrolytes. It's a good all-arounder. Decent flavor, good pumps, good endurance, decent price, inoffensive brand image. I'd say this product is best suited for someone who does a high-intensity style of training, something like cycling, CrossFit, boxing, piloxing, one of those. Let me know what you thought of this. Did it taste good? Did it inspire you? Did it hydrate you? Did you fuck shit up? I'm curious. Let me know down in the comments. Thank you for watching. Hit the video with a like if you enjoyed the content. Hit subscribe and ding the bell if you'd like to be notified when I release my next review. And until next time, stay sharp, stay shredded.